It was always my desire to launch Loopels with Tatiana Blatnik, because her story reflects something universal, the quiet reckoning that arrives when life shifts beneath us and asks us who we are, what we stand for, and what we want to offer the world next. Princess Tatiana is known to many for her years within the Greek royal household. Today, she stands firmly in her own purpose as an author, philanthropist, and the founder of the mental health organisation Helis. She has dedicated her work to strengthening resilience and human connection. But what moves me most is not the title she once carried. It's the courage she brings to the chapters she is rewriting now. She is someone who has stood at the bottom of the mountain more than once and still chosen to rise. Her work through Helis is a testament to this, an offering born not from theory but from lived experience, reminding us that resilience is a practice, compassion is a skill, and open conversations save lives. Loopels is about the art of change, about recognising that transformation doesn't happen in a single moment, but in the fragile, deliberate steps we take after the break. It's about how we climb again, how we honour who we were while choosing who we are becoming. Tatiana's journey captures this spirit with profound authenticity. Today she joins us not as a princess, but as a woman who continues to evolve, to question, to rebuild, and to share her story in the hope that it might help someone else navigate their own becoming. Tatiana, I can't believe we are here together face to face.
I know, it's time. It's finally, after a whole, I think it's been a year.
We've been dating for a year now.
We have been dating, like serious dating. Zooms, you've seen me in my PJs.
I have.
You've seen me waking up.
So much has happened for you in that year.
A lot has happened, and you've been through it, and you've literally like held me. You've been through my separation, my divorce, my God, you moved 3 houses with me. You went through a storm. We lost electricity. I mean, it was very dramatic. It's been a dramatic year, but we didn't actually meet until now.
I know, it's so lovely to have you here in Australia. Thank you.
Are you kidding? Thank you. I love it here. I really do.
It's been only a few days. It's whirlwind. You're actually...
I don't know what day it is.
The jet lag is real in Australia.
Jet lag is real, it is. I was like, I don't get jet lag, but I do.
I want to go back to the beginning because a lot of people may not know your story. So let's start way back. Tell me a little bit about Tatiana Blatnik.
Tatiana Blatnik, like way, way back. So I was, actually, it's interesting that you said Tatiana Blatnik. Some people, you know, they say, how would you like to be called? Are you Tatiana? Are you Princess Tatiana? Are you Tatiana Blatnik? And that's, I've had this kind of identity crisis for a while, and it sounds like, what do you mean identity crisis? But it actually goes back to the simple question of where are you from? And if I was to ask you that,
I would say Melbourne, Australia.
Okay. Most people have a quick answer. Yeah. I've never had that. I'll say Venezuela, but then people kind of look at me blankly. They don't think I look Venezuelan. And I go into the whole story. Well, my father was actually Slovenian. My mother's actually German, but she grew up in Spain. And then when I was really young, we moved to Switzerland. And from Switzerland, and when my father died, my mother remarried a Venezuelan who lived in New York. So I was between Switzerland and New York when I was in school. And then I moved to DC. And from DC, I moved to London. And from London, I moved to Greece after I got married. And I've been in Greece for 12 years. So people are like, oh, but so then you're Slovenian. I said, no, I'm not Slovenian. My father died when I was just turned 7. I don't speak Slovenian. The first time I was in Slovenia was last year, and I don't speak German. So I don't feel any of those. So I never really knew where I was from, although home has always been very cozy, you know, but as a country or as a place, I never really knew. So one of the ways that I've always had identity is through actually the language of food. So I guess that's also why I wrote a cookbook. And it's something that has helped me sort of create my identity. Like, the arepas from Venezuela came to Switzerland. So all these, like my German identity, it sounds strange, but it's bratwurst and sauerkraut. And all these things kind of just like have come into my home. And that is also sort of how I've created and evolved my identity and understand where I'm from. And I think the language of food, it says so much about us. So that is part of me as well.
But you speak, is it 5 languages you speak?
Well, I wouldn't say I speak 5 fluently.
Okay.
But I can speak 5.
That's impressive. Very impressive, actually. How's your Greek?
My Greek's okay. Yeah.
Hopefully it's better than mine.
I don't know if it's better than yours. We can try it later.
We can try that out
Maybe
later
not
on.
now.
You
Maybe
touched
not
on
now.
something very personal a moment ago.
Yeah.
And that was the death of your father at 7 years of age.
Yeah.
I just want to pause on that. That's a pretty pivotal thing to happen in your life at such a young time.
Yeah. I had just turned 7. I lost my father, in quite a tragic way. So I lost him. He took his life. So that's something that no one really speaks about or spoke about. Actually, I had asked my family about 4 years ago, I said, is it okay if I say this publicly? Because no one had ever really spoken about it publicly. And so to them, I'm very grateful that they, allowed me to speak about it, because they're also happy that I'm, speaking and hoping to end the stigma around it, maybe be able to help others. Losing my father at that age, I didn't know. I never asked how he left. There was just suddenly no more papi. And then when I was 13, I was walking down the street in New York. I'll never forget, 57th Street. I remember exactly what door we were in front. And I looked at my mother and I was like, Mommy, what happened? How did he die? And so she told me. And for some reason, it really, really shocked me. Like, I should have known, that I knew that it was dark, but I should have known. I didn't. And I don't, everyone goes through something. Every family has a tragedy. Every single person. I don't think mine is any worse, that's for sure. But I can share my story. And that's, and I'm really grateful to you for allowing me to. And it affected me a lot in so much as, I had a lot of nightmares, I had insomnia, and it was just like, it's been ongoing.
I mean, that's such a significant thing for a 7-year-old to process, and then, of course, you hold on to that. Do you think that has had a massive impact on your life?
I think it has. I think that it's, I've never felt anger. A lot of people feel angry when someone leaves like that. I felt sadness. Sadness that, why does someone have to suffer so much?
Did it feel a little bit like a light left in you?
Like that a light left, or that I had light still inside me?
I love that. That's beautiful. So true.
Yeah.
But can you tell me a little bit about him?
He was 25 years older than my mother. He had a very colorful life, very colorful. He was engaged to Natalie Wood. I have these great videos of him playing beach volleyball in Malibu with Paul Newman and Elizabeth Taylor and Natalie Wood. And, but it's not that his life was always like this. You know, they were immigrants from Slovenia to Venezuela, and they were shoe manufacturers, you know, so it's not, but he really created something. But then there was sort of there was contrast always. I was, you know, in a very small village in Switzerland. There was nothing that I liked more than going down to the farmer and milking cows and getting my own vegetables, which I still really like to do. So it was also a very simple life, although there was this very colorful life as well. But, you know, as a child, you don't know. And then suddenly it was gone, so.
It would have been an incredibly difficult time, no doubt. And
yeah, I think for everyone, probably in the family, it was pretty difficult, especially if you can't talk about it.
No, that's right. And we will touch on Breathe Helis in a moment.
Yeah.
But can we talk a little bit about you as a 21-year-old starting your first business?
Well, when I left university, I went to London and I wanted to, I started to work immediately. I set up my company. I did consulting, and then I went into fashion, but mainly focused on impact. So I was always working, started my own company doing that, and had other people working with me. So I've been on my own journey working since I was 21. You know, starting your own company, but at the same time, because it's always been impact driven, so many people see it as like charity, that I, you know, run around doing charitable projects. It's because it's built in me. It's in my heart that my work gives back. That's it.
And was this something that you needed to pause on when you married Prince Nicola, or was it something that you kept going? Like you continued to have your own businesses?
No, completely kept going.
Really?
Yeah. It was, definitely kept going.
There's been a lot of private reckonings in your journey. I just want you to talk to me a little bit about some of the most challenging moments in your life and how you see yourself now.
I'm going to go back my first year at Georgetown, at university. And I walked into this class because we had to take social sciences. So I signed up for a sociology class. And my professor walked in and he wrote on the blackboard, he wrote, identity. What makes you you? And then he wrote race, gender, religion, language. He just kept listing these things. And I looked around the room, and we walked in as freshmen, as first-year students. That's what we were. We were a collective group of freshmen. And suddenly everyone looked different. And I suddenly saw division where we had unity. And these were all labels. So that's kind of been part of my exploration, and you touched on it just by saying you have all these labels, and many of us do, many of us wear many hats. This past year for me, if anything, I would say it was a moment where I feel like I came bare, if I can say that. Like, I feel that I was ripping off a lot of my labels and coming down to my essence and really getting to know who I am. I think that's where it brought me.
And as I've got to know you, I can see this beautiful light as you begin to shed some of those labels. One of the labels that everyone knows you for is princess. And I know that that's been a really difficult label for you to shed over the last 18 months.
Yeah, but I would say that also ripping off all these labels, it's just been hard because, it's kind of scary. Like, who are you? And I think it's not only me. I think a lot of people go through that. I mean, if you get married and then, as a woman, you know, if you get married and you're with someone for 25 years and, you know, you've been known for 25 years as Mrs. Smith, and suddenly that name, you're no longer Mrs. Smith and you go back to your maiden name. But nobody knows you as Mrs. I can't make up a name right now. as Mrs. Blatnik. So it is really hard to suddenly walk into a room and not have your old name or send an email, you know? So it's hard. I think it's also hard for an athlete that transitions into no longer being an athlete. You suddenly have to redefine and reinvent yourself. That's sort of where I'm at.
I think it's a really beautiful way of reflecting on it. I know it's been a really difficult journey for you. How do you refer to yourself now? How do you see yourself now?
How do I see myself now? Last year I felt stronger. I don't know why. This year I wanted to do everything. I wanted to write the book. I wanted to open up the center. The list was so long. And I remember someone saying to me, Tati, you can do everything, but just not at the same time. And I wanted to be all those women that I know are inside me, that I've just been like pushing down. And every time I got up to do something, I felt that I fell back down. So it hasn't been the year I wanted it to be because it wasn't perfect. However, what I've learned this year the most and what I'm having to accept is myself. This imperfect version of myself. When I look back on my life, the only thing I wish I had done differently is be kinder to myself and not try to be so perfect. But I'm learning to accept this imperfect version of myself.
Breathe Helis. Talk to me about how that's come about. I know it's a really personal project for you.
Yeah, so Breathe Helis is a mental health, emotional well-being nonprofit that I founded actually in 2020 during COVID. It came about, it wasn't something that it wasn't an idea that I had my whole life. I work with so many other organizations. I work with the Hellenic Initiative. I work with all these different organizations. I didn't have this idea. But when COVID hit and everyone was sitting at home, I also felt that a lot of people were calling me with problems. And I remember having my first panic attack in the car and looking at myself, not because I wanted to, but because there's a rearview mirror. And my eyes were full of tears. And I was just like, I couldn't breathe. I really couldn't breathe. And I was like, Tati, just breathe, just breathe, just breathe, just breathe. And I opened my eyes and I still had the mask on from coming out of the supermarket. And all I could see were my eyes. And they were just full of tears and so much fear. And I went upstairs and I got on the phone with my friend and partner who I was working with. She was in Miami. And I told her, she's like, Tati, you got to do it. You've got to start breathe. It's your mission, it's your purpose. And so I launched Breathe, which is, it started off as something very personal, but, with my father that I've talked to you about, with my own personal journey, what I've always said is, I don't want people to suffer in silence. This screaming in silence, so many people do. So it started off as a platform to create a safe space, to raise awareness and the stigma around it, education, primary prevention, and bringing tools and resources to, mainly to youth, but also make it available to all.
It's such an incredible initiative. And what strikes me about it is you were going through a really challenging time and yet you funneled that into something so purposeful and beautiful. But in order for it to feel authentic, you really needed to share some of your story to do that.
What's interesting is that yesterday we had also a conversation. Actually, it was the first time I ever did it live. And although I've shared my story, I've never shared it in public. But I have had so many people share their stories with me so that I could use my platform to show that vulnerability is also strength. And I was kind of embarrassed that I shared so much, but it's what I've asked so many people to do. So I'm really grateful to you for, allowing me and giving me that space, because that's sort of what Breathe is about. But I am very open because I think it's important to talk about things. Last year with Breathe, it was an incredible year. I mean, last year was, I don't know, it was like a storm. So many things happened, but when it rains, it pours. And we actually created a national awareness campaign around mental health. And I had no idea, I didn't even know how big it was going to be or what it was going to evolve into. I just knew that we wanted to use athletes as role models. So we partnered with the Ministry of Health, we partnered with the Ministry of Sports, Ministry of Education, the Hellenic Olympic Committee, the Stavros Niarchos Foundation, the Hellenic Initiative. We got so much support. And really in the space of, a month, it all happened. We teamed up with an incredible production team. What else did we do?
Was that called Uniform of Hope?
This is the Uniform of Hope. And we interviewed 28 Olympic athletes before the Olympics, and we asked them to share their stories. And for me, it was, who are the people that we see that are strong, but we don't see all their failures. We just see them standing up there getting gold. What do they go through to get there? And the athlete's mindset is that failure is part of success. And you can never do it alone. You see them up there alone, but their team is what gets them there. And all these lessons from interviewing athletes, and I was like, this is the message I want to get across. What are the tools and techniques that they use to get themselves centered, grounded, well? What do they do? Because at the end of the day, they all say, no matter how well you are physically, if your mind isn't right, you're not going to get there.
You must be so proud of that, Tatiana. And I just, do you mind me asking if there was one that really stood out of all the athletes that you interviewed, out of all the information?
Well, it's going to come out. We have the trailer, which is out, and we have, it was in the subways, and there was we have a lot of the messages of hope that they created out. I wouldn't say that there was one, because I can't say that, because every single person touched me. The one thing that did happen in the midst of all this is about 3 weeks after we decided to separate and it became public, my brother went missing. And I remember that morning receiving emails, even from FBI and all this, and I was like, what's going on my phone? This is really weird. And all these things, your brother's missing, can you give an interview? And it was 7 o'clock in the morning in Athens, and I was going to film, and we were 60 people on set. And it was just made the news because it leaked. So Tatiana's brother goes missing. And we were going to interview 5 athletes. And my brother was, also an athlete, really very strong. He looked like he had it all together. We still never found him.
Oh, you haven't found him?
No. So this documentary, for me, you asked me if there's one special person, that the most special is him. And the truth is that he suffered from severe anxiety. and all these things that we're talking about. And ironically, I was interviewing people that looked exactly like he did. Athletic, he had just done a triathlon. He was, so it was so, this whole campaign and this docuseries and the Uniform of Hope became so personal for me. So finishing it, despite it being the hardest thing I have ever done, because fundraising and doing all the things that we had to do, I said, I'm going to finish this no matter what for that. And we've turned it into workshops. We're taking it around Greece as well. So I can't wait for it to come out. Yeah.
Tatiana, even after the launch of Breathe Helis and Uniform of Hope and the loss of your brother, I'm just interested in understanding, was there any learnings for you?
Oh my God, so many. So many. I would say the first is that I didn't give up. I would say, there were so many days I didn't want to continue. Like, it was really a challenge. I think that's one thing. The other is not being afraid to ask for help. That was because I have had the most incredible support team. The people I work with. I mean, there were days where we were working 18 hours. I mean, it was just, but for weeks on end. It was just nonstop. So I would say that the people around me, how much I can lean on them, that was something else I learned, because it's always been sort of very independent and doing everything on my own. I do everything on my own, always on my own. But this has been, but my message, ironically, is always about community and connection. So I learned that. I actually really learned it.
And you have spoken to me about your circle of women in particular that surrounded you, lifted you. Can we touch on that for a moment?
Yeah, I am really lucky. Don't get me wrong here, I love men. And I grew up with a lot of boys because I had brothers. So I've been around it a lot. However, I work, Breathe was founded by women, by me, Victoria. It's a whole, all of us, everyone who works in Breathe, we're all women. It's 8 women. The communications team that helps us, run by women, all women. The social media team, all women. The other project I'm working on, 3 women. And I'm talking about work because these people have all become my family. In Greece, and they're all Greek, and they're really, really rooted, strong. So I've been able to lean on, incredible women. I have, of course, my mom as well. It's really just strong women around me.
And you've spoken to me about that feminine energy?
Yeah, I've been saying it for a while, but I have now really lived it. There's this shift, and I don't want to sound like but I really feel that there's a shift in energy. And it's towards much more of a feminine energy. And we all have both. We have masculine, we have feminine. But it's the time of the female energy. And it's much more about collaboration versus competition, joining in partnership, taking care of Mother Earth. We're talking about sustainability, what we've done to the earth. So all these things that sort of, it's very feminine. And I think that we need to, as women, also embrace that, as opposed to thinking that we need to be successful the way that, I don't really want to say it, but the way that men are successful. We can do it in our way. Collaborate, work together. And I see it much, more and more today. Even companies, everyone is collaborating with each other. So it's really that feminine energy. It's something to really embrace.
I mean, women supporting women is incredible. And I have to say to you personally, this is obviously the launch of Loopels, and when I reached out to you, I was really an unknown entity to you. I mean, we had met many years ago once, I think it was.
Yeah.
But to reach out to you and say, this is the idea and these are the conversations I want to have, and for you to lean into that and support me in doing this as such an incredible guest and storyteller around your journey has been just so empowering for me.
Thank you.
So I have to thank you for that. And
Well, I feel the same. I mean, we're not going to sit here and do this, but I really do feel the same because, you know, being asked to do podcasts, I'm very shy as a person, but your story is so strong and inspiring. And what you're creating here, you know, it's a community of people that want to support each other. I think, and being able to tell your stories and be able to support each other. So I'm honored to be here. Thank you. Really.
Thank you. I just want to touch on something with you, Tatiana, around the courage post your separation from Prince Nicola. You decided to stay in Greece. And I think that that's actually quite a courageous decision, but I'm interested in your reflection on that, because it would have been very easy for you to pack your suitcase and leave.
Well, yeah, you went through many moves with me, but they were all in Greece. It's funny, so many people ask me that. So many people say, why'd you stay in Greece? And I can't see myself having left Greece. It would have maybe been easier on paper, but it's home. Greece is home. Greece has held me. It's welcomed me. The people have just been, I don't know, I feel like, I mean, sometimes it even happens, you know, like hugged. Like I just feel embraced.
What is it about the spirit of Greece that does that for you?
I love the energy of Greece because it has this, it's chaotic yet calm. It's old yet modern and innovative. And there's so much, and it's the brightest light. And yet you also have this darkness. I love the contrasts. I really love that about especially in Athens. But you can really find, you can go into a neighborhood full of graffiti and 2 minutes later, you're on the beautiful in the Aegean, So it's just, I love all these contrasts.
It's such a melting pot, isn't it?
It has everything.
It does have everything. I agree with you. And for someone that is quite tuned into that energy, it would be quite magical in your becoming, I guess.
And I also believe that, in the last 12 years, I didn't really know if I was coming or going anywhere. I've always kind of been on this, where am I going? Where do I stay? Do I not? Should I leave? And it's interesting that I decided to stay maybe and place roots there because I actually realized that when I found myself alone, I had roots there. And I was nurturing them. And I have this visual that when you place this tree, it wasn't just me there taking care of it. There was like an entire community coming to take care of me, of this tree, of this plant, watering it when I couldn't, when I was tired. So there's one more thing about Greece. There's a lot of things. But also values. I was talking about community. I love that on Sundays you see families coming together and going for lunch. And it's just all these things that we're losing in modern society. I think Greece still has it. And it's really important to me, I guess, because I've maybe felt that I was scattered, but I see what I want when I'm there.
I think over the last few days in particular, but it has been a year, I've had the incredible opportunity of spending some quiet moments with you. And what has really struck me about that is there is this incredible light that still lives inside you, Tatiana. It's really inspiring. You're creative, you're curious, really purposeful and authentic, and you're open to sort of throwing yourself out there again. How did you find your way back to all of that?
Well, first of all, you don't know light. There is no light without darkness, right? So you have, and the darker you go, the brighter it is afterwards. So that's one thing. The other thing is, I don't know, how can you not be curious? Life is magical. Even, when you hit rock bottom, it's not. But when you're, I just find that there's so much that I want to do. And so many times in life, one feels that it's too late. It's just, I can't now. I lost that window, I lost that opportunity. And it's not too late. It's not starting new. And I had to learn that. I'm not starting over. I'm just writing another page on an incredible foundation in a really big book. And it's just like, I'm not giving up that book. I'm just writing another chapter. And so that's kind of how I see it.
It's a beautiful reflection. And I remember you and I have laughed about this, but you said to me in one of our many chats, stupidity versus resilience.
Yeah, no, I remember saying this to you because...
Can you please explain?
I remember saying this to you because it was this... I remember that morning, I started doing my journal, and I wake up in the morning and I do 3 pages, and I'm not allowed to take the pen off the paper until I finish these 3 pages. So God knows what I write, right? I don't go back and read it because, I don't know. But I remembered this one, and then we had that nice 8 a.m. call. And I remember thinking to myself, we're talking about resilience and, how resilient. And the definition of stupidity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And I was wondering, am I trying to get a different result here, doing the same thing over and over again, like staying here, waking up, with the work that I do? Am I being stupid, or am I being resilient that I'm getting up and trying again? So I don't know. I don't know. That day I was stuck in this, like, am I being stupid or am I being resilient? Because everyone's like, you're so resilient, Tatiana. And then it was like, no, maybe I'm just stupid.
But isn't that amazing?
I hope that's not the one quote that everybody gets. Maybe I'm just stupid.
It won't be, because certainly, I guess it's a lesson for me too, is to hear you say that. I look at you and I see you with a different lens to sometimes probably how you see yourself. And I said that to you yesterday, is in a sea of 230, 300 women, they were so inspired. I'm so inspired. And yet you say to yourself, was that silly, or am I being stupid? And I think, it's maybe the way we talk to ourselves sometimes. Would you agree?
Yeah, well, definitely. Who do you speak to the most? Is it your mum? Is it your daughter? Is it your best friend?
Yeah, I think, it's my sister, it's my mum,
no,
it's my husband. Yeah, you're going to say it's myself. You're right.
Your entire life, the person you're going to speak to the most is yourself. And you got to learn to speak nicely to that one person you're going to constantly be having a conversation with. And I'm really not good at that.
Sounds like I'm not either. We'll work on that one
We'll
together.
work on that one.
Okay. For the women listening to this podcast and men who might be at the beginning of their next chapter or in the middle of their own becoming, what would you say to them about trusting the unknown?
I'm going to say two things. The first is, you're not alone. And maybe I've said it before, but it's really important to know that you're not alone. The second thing is, sometimes we hold on to the known just because we know it, but it's not necessarily healthy or the best. It's just safe. So just imagine you're in a river and it's a really strong river and you're grabbing onto this twig, onto this branch, and you're just holding on for dear life. But you're like drowning and drowning, but there's no way you're gonna let go because you don't know what's out there. But you're exhausted. But you're not gonna let go of this thing because that's your safety. But is it fun? No. Are you happy? No. Are you enjoying the ride? No. But you know it. You know you're not gonna drown because you're holding on to this. When you let go and you just go with the river and you take a breath and you trust, that is peace. And sometimes you just have to trust. And it's beautiful. And you don't have to know everything. You just have to take the next step or the next little ride in the river. I think that's it. I think.
Any regrets?
I know you're expecting me to say no because everybody says no. But yeah, I have regrets. And they're not the big regrets, life choices, because that's what got me here. I don't regret that. I regret how I have spoken to myself. I regret how I have treated myself. Because I wouldn't treat anyone else like that. Just wanting to be someone and not trusting to be me. I think that's not living life to the fullest. That's it.
So what's the best piece of advice you were given through your journey of change?
First of all, I would say that the only constant in life is change. It's the only thing we can be certain of. So I wouldn't say that it's just one moment of my life. I know that I can be certain that it's going to change again. So, best advice I've been given. You got me there.
It's a hard one, isn't it?
Yeah, because I've been given lots of
So much.
So much, but I love a day at a time. I love
One foot in front of the other.
yeah. My mother always says, if you don't ask, you don't get. But during a moment, I love, keep it simple. I have a little motto, it's just kiss. Keep it simple and sexy, if you can.
Love it. I've got a little surprise for you.
Oh, no.
Well, a couple of surprises, actually.
I hate surprises.
Oh, well, that's why I thought we'd have a bit of fun at the end. I've got a few photographs here that I just want to show you and I want your reaction to. One word, a sentence.
Okay.
Whatever comes to mind of where you were at that time and how
okay.
you felt. First photo.
We're in Greece.
Are you in Greece?
Yeah.
Your dad?
Yep.
Who else is in the photo?
That's my daddy, my brother, and me. And this is crazy because I did not know that this, look at what it says. Have you seen this?
I can't see that. What does it say?
It says Corfu.
It does too.
Yeah. That was the first time I ever went to Greece. It was a boat trip with my dad.
It's a beautiful photo. Second one. Tell me the story of how you met Diane von Furstenberg.
Well, we've known each other for a really long time, but I worked with her also for 8 years. She was an incredible mentor, amazing woman. I respect her so much. And our families go back a long time because, funnily enough, my father and Diane dated.
No.
And for my wedding, Diane gave me a picture of them together. So it goes back.
Full circle.
Yeah, it does. I can go on forever at how long it goes, but I have a very separate relationship with Diane because of having worked with her. So I admire and respect her a lot.
So clearly she's part of your women's circle.
Yeah, no, I think she's pretty much boss of the women's circle.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Boss lady, absolutely.
What's next? That's one of the best trips I've ever had.
With your mum?
That's
This
me
is
and
a
my
photo of
mom,
your
yeah.
mum?
That was us, and that was during COVID. We went to Tulum, just the two of us, and she called me. We were on the phone, and she had a book, and we were on FaceTime, and she was like, she had this book, and it said Tulum. She goes, Tati, would you come to Tulum with me? And I was like, God, I haven't left this apartment in like a year or 6 months. I was like, yes. When? Tomorrow? We had to get our papers, so we left 2 days later, and we went to Tulum, and it was a great trip.
There's just an incredible energy about her, even in this photograph.
She has so much energy. She has so much energy. Like, only my niece, who's 10, can keep up with her. That's it. No one else can.
She seems like an incredible lady. What do you see when you see that? What do you think?
Well, to be honest, I was so conscious of the veil getting stuck that I'm thinking of what I was thinking then.
Typical bride.
Like it was. My thoughts go back to the thoughts of like, is the veil going to get pulled? Is this going to happen? So, like totally stuck in my head.
Who walked you down the aisle?
My stepfather.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Was there nerves beyond a normal bride's just stepping into this new chapter?
No, I'll tell you the truth, because it was 2010, and the family hadn't been back a lot in Greece, and maybe just a little bit. No, I was just, maybe that something unexpected would happen, but no.
This, which you shot recently.
Yes.
For the cover of Vogue, or a Vogue article, is that correct?
Yeah, in Vogue.
I'm interested in your reflections of Tatiana Blatnik there.
Well, it's funny, this picture is the last picture it's funny that we chose this picture, is the last picture we took. And we ran in and put on a sweater and a pair of pants, sat on the floor to take a portrait, and put my hair up as I always do, a little ponytail, and that was that picture. So this is me without the clothes that we had on. It was just like, let's go and do it more natural. And I think it's probably the best picture we took because I am always very comfortable sitting on the floor.
And also, I mean, it's my favourite photo of you. I think you look stunning.
Thank you. I thought you were going to show me pictures of me like dancing on a table or something.
No, I wouldn't do that to you. I should have, but I didn't.
Because you called Victoria, I think, or something like that. So I was like, oh my God,
where's that going? My question to you is, you used an analogy about a swan to describe yourself.
I said a duck.
A duck.
But yes, it's this, I mean, especially recently, but actually my whole life, I feel that it's been, so many people see this you said swan. This swan just like gliding across. Everything is calm and beautiful. And underneath, you're just paddling like this. And no one sees what's going on beneath the surface. And I believe that that's sort of how I've been managing a lot of my life, to be honest.
I've got one more thing to share with you.
Okay.
I did reach out to someone. It was your mum. And she's written a letter to me, and I'd like to read it
because
to you.
she hates writing.
Well, she actually wrote to me, and it was beautiful. So I'd like to share that with you. It says, "Dear Helen, I'm deeply touched by your invitation to share a few thoughts about my daughter Tatiana.
Really? You're going to do this to me?
As her mother, I've watched her life unfold across continents and cultures. She was born in Venezuela and grew up in Switzerland before studying sociology in the United States. Her father was Slovenian and I am German, so Tatiana learned early on that identity is layered and fluid. Losing her father when she was just 7 years old could have hardened her, but instead it gave her an acute sensitivity to other people's pain. Years later, she told a journalist that she shed all the labels of nationality and heritage to become simply Tatiana, rooted in her own values, that inner strength that has been the compass that guides her. Her marriage to Prince Nicola opened a new chapter and introduced her to the country that would become her home. Tatiana often speaks of how being part of the Greek royal family taught her about love, service to one's country, and family unity. Even after her divorce, she has said that staying in Greece was the bravest decision she ever made because she had developed a deep sense of belonging there. She chose to remain in Athens and turned a challenging moment into an opportunity to reinvent herself. She truly believes that even in the darkest moments, there is always light and the possibility for growth. Out of that conviction came Breathe Helis, the mindful mental health movement she founded in 2020. Breathe fights stigma and provides free tools, campaigns and advocacy so that mental health is treated with the same importance as physical health. Tatiana has said that everything we do involves both our body and mind, and that investing in the health and happiness of our country is an investment in our shared future. She serves as an international ambassador of the Hellenic Initiative, is a founding partner of TABLA, and co-authored the cookbook, A Taste of Greece, blending heritage with philanthropy. In 2024, she launched Uniform of Hope campaign, working with 28 Greek athletes and the Hellenic Olympic Committee to break the stigma around mental health and encourage young people to share their stories. At the launch, she likened the project to the Olympic torch, saying their hope was to inspire others to pass the flame of resilience from team to team. Her compassion is not confined to mental health. During Greece's debt crisis, she partnered with the food charity Boroume and published A Taste of Greece to raise funds for people facing hunger. She also created Tria to help Greek artisans modernise traditional crafts and reach global markets. As her mother, I am proud of the woman she has become, a deeply spiritual person who lights candles in churches, values family and community, and turns adversity into purpose. Her strength is quiet yet resolute, her compassion limitless. Tatiana does not seek the spotlight, but she steps into it when her voice can uplift others. She's taught me that true royalty is measured not by titles, but by service and empathy. I hope these reflections give you a glimpse of the daughter I love so dearly and the reason she embodies resilience, renewal and purpose. With warmest regards, Blanca.
Okay, I wasn't expecting that at all. Thank you.
It's a beautiful letter.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it at all. Thank you.
When you hear that, does it make you proud of your journey?
Yeah, I guess so. But I'm pretty hard on myself.
You are.
Yeah.
You're so loved.
Thank you for that.
Thank you so much for today.
Next time I'm going to interview you. I don't know if I can do it as well as you, but because you're amazing. And it's your bravery that brought me here. So thank you so much.
Beautiful Tatiana Blatnik.
I mean it.
Loopels Conversations are available on your preferred podcast platforms. For exclusive behind-the-scenes insights, head to loopels.com.